Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is In a Barbie World,
the podcast where we look at every Barbie movie from 1987 to the present day.
from fairy tales to literary classics.
From Mariposa to Mermaidia.
It's time to get unboxed,
Readjust your lippy,
rock the ball gown,
and let's get our Barbie on.
Barbie, Princess Charm School. This has been a long time coming. You wanted this to be the Black Widow movie that we never got.
Yeah, 20 CGI movies in, apparently. And this was the one I was, well, you know, when you cast an eye over the pile, I thought, oh, that could be about that. But we kind of had that, didn't we, in the Three Musketeers? With
yeah.
With the so, and I knew it wasn't going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I messaged you. I was on Letterboxd and noticed it's got like 4 out of, is it 4 out of 4 on Letterboxd or 4 out of 5? It's one of the highest rated animated movies on Letterboxd. It's got thousands of reviews, all high, and I was like, what's going on? Clearly some campaign to raise it up.
What?
But I looked, and then I looked on Amazon, and it's 4.5 out of 5 on there. And it's like, all my worries, even though I knew my dream of what this movie was going to be, I was fascinated to see what it was anyway, why it was bizarrely rated so high.
We say bizarrely. I don't know why I still don't just come in with blind faith for these films, because they are just getting funnier and gayer with every installment.
And I've got to be honest with you, reading most of the reviews, the gayness of this movie is, I think, what has all the comments about all the standing of various characters with each other.
It is the most canon as well.
Yeah.
Female relationship. Like, it's like explicit within the film. Like, it's the closest we've gotten.
It is. And spoilers, I don't know how you felt about it, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, it was so good. Page of notes, because now I just settle in and I'm just like, it's a great fucking movie. It's really fucking funny. It's really interesting. It's really intriguing. It's got some great characters. Like, the designs are really nice. I love the outfits. All of the songs slap. Like, it just, like, it does relentlessly good.
And it just, it does a couple of interesting things with the story. I've got some huge fucking questions about the general lore of this new universe we're in.
Well,
right?
I read your Letterboxd review and I think I have the answers for you.
Excellent. Excellent. Because apart from that, this was great.
Oh my God. It was freaking fantastic.
I think we've got another difficult difficult conversation at the end.
Poor Mermaidia.
Yeah, which when we did A Mermaid's Tale, which I know you hated, and I was like met about, I thought that was what the rest of this, we were going to have another 25 of these.
Just like
bemoaning. Do you remember those first 15? Oh, do you remember when we?
Remember the Nutcracker and the big twist.
Yeah.
Got another big twist here.
Yeah. So absolutely. So let's dive in, because
oh my goodness.
I'm glad you liked it, because that's the other thing. As I keep saying every show, I think, well, I like this. What if Emily doesn't?
The one? And I did wonder. I read your Letterboxd review and I was like, oh no, what if I don't like it? And then, and very early on, I was like, wait, I'm confused. So we meet Barbie, but her name is Blair, and she works in a cafe in like Belgravia. Like it's a Hallmark Christmas movie, and we need a random European country to put a princess in. So it's like Guardavia or something.
It is something like that, yes.
So she works in the cafe. So I was like, right, are you Barbie the actress in a movie as a character, or are you Barbie as a character, or are you a friend of Barbie's, because we've been so meta for the last couple of movies where Barbie has been an actress starring in movies, that I was confused long enough because we're watching these canonically as well. I was like, what's happening? She was called Blair. She has an adopted younger sister called Emily. Great name. And so I was like, okay, I think this is, if anything, it's Barbie the actress is playing the character of Blair in Barbie in a Princess Charm school. But that's when we never break that. We are fully in the world of this is Blair. This is Blair and her sister Emily.
That's right. That all that meta stuff that we had in those other movies has gone
It's
away.
like gone, yeah, which is fine.
Which is sad.
As long as,
but it's also a contemporary story with magic.
With magic.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, some of the other, I guess we could have said things like Thumbelina lived in a world like that, but this is, and I suppose The Mermaid's Tale as well. But no, this is super contemporary. People have got laptops, mobile phones, password hints. But there is also
a pet fairy, like a slave fairy, like an indentured servant fairy.
Yeah, it's not quite as insidious as Gringotts or indeed the house elves. But there is a little bit of Harry Potter going on here.
A little bit raised eyebrowy. I was like, okay, and here's your like fairy slave. Okay.
That you high five sometimes.
But yeah, that's like sort of your friend, but like definitely still has to do your bidding all of the time.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. And it's this kind of, there seems to be a lot of these countries, but this one has got a school which is for training princesses and what I would call ladies in waiting. I forget what they call them. Well, ladies royal, yes.
Ladies royal, which is, it means that you're not princess by blood, but you will be taking on a role of, we never really find out what the role is. It's like, oh, are you ready? Are you prepared for the role that will await you once you graduate from Princess Charm School? And we assume that it's some sort of leadership position in all of the various different countries. But it's never.
But
really
it doesn't feel like
to us.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, there is obviously a hereditary nature to it because that's a plot point later on. Yes. But there also seems to be this, yes, that they feel more like ladies in waiting in general, i.e. sort of, on the whole, rich kids that have been brought up to take these royal roles, but there's an infinite number of them. Which might be what you're going to explain to me later.
Yeah, and I think that's mainly because in theory, we're in like Europe, and there's a princess for every. So Serbia, Hungary, Romania, Latvia, like they all have princesses, and there's just lots of them. There's like 20 countries, 20 princesses.
And also, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it too much, right? My issue is that there seems to be the equivalent of high school, which I think. Which means they're like 16 to 18.
Yeah.
And there's X number of princesses and ladies royal that come in, and then there'll be another intake next year. So there will be princess after princess after princess or whatever coming in, but people live, unless this is like Logan's Run and they haven't told us that they'll get put down at 30. but it just seems to a lot of it. But then I'm thinking, Stephen, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
because there's even more ridiculous things.
What are the roles that we're stepping into? And I think if this was made today, we'd perhaps be more explicit and there'd be more presidential or politician-y or leaders in other ways. Like they use their skill sets and their own personal hobbies to go and become leaders. You know, the football one could become like a football coach. She could coach the country's team or something. So she still uses the skill sets that she picked up in the school, but not necessarily for running a country, if that makes sense, which is why there's so many of them, because they basically just get taught to take on these leadership roles. But then there's whole, like, it's sort of pro-royal whilst also sort of being, well, no, it's just pro-royal. It covers gentrification, it covers,
Well,
Like
is it
Princess
is it a
Diana
snide
vibes.
Barbie commentary on the Princess Di conspiracy
Yeah,
theory? I mean, there's so much in this
it's
that you
rich. It's layered.
and one of the things maybe that hasn't happened in the Barbie movie so far is that, you know, like when you watch it, I don't know, and it's an unfair comparison, but you watch like a Pixar movie. And what we often say is, look, there's all this stuff for the kids, but there's stuff for the parents watching as well. And in fact, you can watch it without being a kid or a parent. Yeah. This is probably the first time in a Barbie movie I'm seeing a lot of subtext in the story and what's going. We've already hinted at, you know,
Yeah.
this is the gayest movie that we've seen so far. But there is something you can honestly read into conspiracy theories that have happened in the real world. As you say, there's a little section about gentrification. It talks about the masses versus the classes.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot going
Lot of
on here,
class
and
debate.
so it might not be
Really
about
interesting.
super spies, but you know what? This is cool stuff. This is
Really
interesting.
cool. And the fact that like we haven't even scratched the surface of the plot yet, and we're already like, oh, what is this world? What does it mean? What do they do? Like, it's just
Yeah,
really fun. And on top of
and
that, everyone looks fucking fantastic. All of the outfits, top notch.
yeah, and it does suffer a little bit with Barbie same face-itis. Like, I don't
Yes.
think I could pick a couple of the characters out, and maybe giving the Asian character chopsticks in her hair was a
Was
little
was not good. It's just like
no.
that wasn't good.
But
Don't
on
do
the other
that.
hand, it is a multiracial. You know,
Yeah.
I think there's an Indian.
There's people in the background. They sort of get the odd
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
We're still not having anyone of color in the forefront in a big
Not
way,
not
and
like
and
we've
I
had.
wonder if we will.
Well, we have had sort of secondary characters that have
Very
been in the past.
minor secondary though,
Well, Three
and I know it
Musketeers,
has to
one of
be.
them
Oh
was,
yeah, that's true. They were all sort of
and I can't remember the one of the present day ones, one of the present day wraparound bits. One of her friends was also. There hasn't been a lot, right?
no,
Especially for something that's coming out of Canada or America, where it is a higher percentage.
yeah,
But yeah, but this is. I think this is our first Asian character.
yes, yeah,
And all right, so they did do something a bit in the section of it, but
but
I had realised what she
she's
was
there.
anyway.
Yeah,
And she visually looks a bit different. So yes, so there's a
yeah,
big cast, almost multiracial, but we'll give it. I'm going to give it a pass on that.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and yeah. Anyway, let's get into the story because everyone's going,
Yeah.
"What the hell? What the hell's this
What
about?"
the hell is this movie? So Blair works in a cafe and she works really hard because her mom is sick and she looks after her younger sister Emily. What we find out later on is that actually Blair was found on the doorstep as a baby, and then 2 days later her younger sister Emily was also adopted. So the mom is not actually blood related to either of her daughters. The whole family is not blood related to each other, which is amazing. Like we've never had that before. We've never had that sort of family unit, like essentially orphan foster children, adoption, sick mom, um, present in the story. Like very, very interesting dynamic going on there. The
It's
younger
a very
sister, mm,
modern, a very modern family unit.
yeah, yeah, very modern. Um, so the younger sister is obsessed with the charm school, which exists in the country that they live in. And as we've said, sort of annually, they take on women to train them up to be princesses or lady royals. And that's just based on whether you are born with blood that is royal or not. And once a year, they let a lottery winner in. So they let a commoner in. And so it's sort of this whole movie sort of defeats the purpose of this lottery contrivance, but allow it. And the reason Blair gets obviously Blair wins the lottery because Emily has put her name forward 1,000,000 times all day, every day for the past year. So most of the things in the barrel are probably Blair's name. So Blair gets picked and Blair gets to go to Princess Charm School. That all happens very quickly, and she's doing it because she wants to get a better life for her ill mother and her younger sister, because they're very poor and they live in a shit part of town. So she goes over to Princess Charm School, and of course, it's like Hogwarts meets high school meets. So you've got all of the stereotypes here. You've got the like bitchy, like girl whose mom is one of the teachers. So they're our main villain. They're like the Hairspray mum and daughter, Michelle Pfeiffer and Brittany Snow. Like very.
Delancey is the girl, and the mum is Dame Devon.
Great names, great looks. Like they look very similar to Barbie, but kind of relevant. So was it that Dame Devon was the sister-in-law to the royal family?
So So it sounds like what has happened is that Queen Isabella,
yes,
died in a car accident with her daughter, maybe others, don't remember.
And her husband.
And I think Devon was her sister, or was Devon her Lady Royal? I think she might have been the Lady Royal.
I think she was the sister-in-law because otherwise she's not blood.
Yes, true.
Yes, she's sister-in-law of the late Queen Isabella.
It doesn't really matter.
It does
reasons. Well, for reason, yeah, it will matter. But in the exact thing, for reasons, her daughter, she's a teacher at the school.
Yeah.
Although under the auspices of Mrs. Privet, who's also fantastic.
Oh, wonderful.
I liked her. She was funny.
Great design.
But her daughter Delancey, adding to the huge liturgy of ridiculous fucking names in Barbie movies.
Yep.
But Delancey is her daughter, but she's also about to be crowned Princess of Gardenia.
Yes.
So she's the queen bee. She's
Regina
destined
George.
allegedly. Yeah.
And she comes with her own children.
Oh, Portia, is it who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Who is quite possibly my favourite character in all 20-odd movies we've watched so far. I don't know why.
He's hilarious. So basically, whatever Portia is on, I want some. I'm doing dry January, but I don't give a shit. Like, Portia has this gorgeous straight red hair and this very, very, very pale face and pointed chin and big, wide, very separate eyes. And she floats into every scene and says shit like, "Oh, I didn't realize humans made clothes. I thought they came from elves, like toast."
Which is just...
That's an actual line from the movie.
When I watched it, I thought, I can't wait to hit Emily's impression. I absolutely thought that. I nearly wrote that in my letterbox just to give you a hint. I was expecting to... Yeah, she's a complete vacant, spaced out valley girl. And another review I read said that the girl from Mean Girls walked so Portia could run.
Portia could run. It's so true. She's fully Karen from Mean Girls. Like, she's absolutely fantastic. She makes no sense. Someone was clearly just having the best time writing all of her lines, and her voice actress went to town as well.
Really and yeah, she's got the funniest lines, but it does talk to a movie which is genuinely funny. Yeah. You know, like sometimes the jokes are a bit corny, or this has got genuinely funny lines. I mean, they're not terribly deep necessarily, but that line you just gave is just delivered so brilliantly.
Bizarre.
It's not on its own. There's visual jokes as well.
Yes.
You know, funny things happen to the fairies and stuff like that don't really matter, but they're there, and it's talking to this much more complex story, both visually and the tale that's working linearly. You know, it's not like Inception or something, but compared to a lot of these films we've seen, which are basically quest movies, this takes time to do other shit as well. And Portia is officially my favourite, and I'm fucking disappointed to see there's no doll of Portia available.
No, that's such a
all the other characters have a doll. This was quite doll heavy, but yes.
That's rubbish.
Portia forever.
Justice for Portia. You're listening, Mattel. Release a Portia doll in time for the Great Go. I hope Portia makes
Oh
a
my god,
cameo.
if Portia
Great
turned up in the
Go.
movie,
Oh my god,
I'm
I'm missing it.
but yeah. So she's Delancey's sort of little mate.
Yeah, so it's genuinely funny, and that really comes from Portia. It's genuinely intriguing. So Blair starts charm school, and she's not very good. She's very clumsy, as is typical, and she doesn't quite know what she's doing, and she doesn't get the manners. And Dame Devon takes her for one of her first classes, and as she trips up, she helps her up, and then there's a real moment where she touches Barbie's face and clearly is like spooked. And it genuinely, I was like doing a jigsaw puzzle while I was watching this, and it made me like stop and look up and be like, oh my God. Like, obviously, I'm an adult and I've seen lots of movies before, so I imagine by this point we've only had a hint that oh, Isabella, Lost Princess, a little bit, little tiny little like snippy,
I mean, we're
snappy
not we're
tidbit.
not we're not stupid. We know exactly
So,
where this is
so of
going.
course you're like, oh great, Blair's the Lost Princess. Like the way that they reveal that to the audience, that Dame Devon has caught on to that and is now going to make Barbie's life a living hell. It's really tense. It lasts
But
quite a long time, and like everyone in the ballroom is like, Dame
yeah,
Devon, what is it? And Barbie's like, what is it? And she's like, ah! And she like switches into like, you'll never do anything good here. You need to leave. And like, it's just you're like, oh, what's going on? I mean, I know what's going on, but what's going on? Like, that's great. Like, it's
well,
really,
and
really intriguing.
yeah, because Dame Devon is genuinely disarmed by this revelation, right?
Mm.
And normally we've had similar revelations before, right?
Oh yeah.
In other ones, or they know what's going on in advance. And there's a haughtiness, there's a superiority, there's an evil cackle. She's never going to be the princess. This was Jesus fucking Christ. That's Sophia. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, and then she catches her breath. She thinks for a moment. You see her thinking again. Not things that we're used to. This is these subtleties in characterization that I'm not used to in these movies, even the good ones, right?
Yeah.
There's just something more going on. I know it's a direct. I think it's a director we haven't seen before. There's something about it, about the writing. In a 70-odd minute movie that enables it to. Doesn't quite play with conventions, but it delivers quite a conventional idea really, really well.
Yeah, it's
And
solid.
I loved it. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That's a key scene, and it's more about that she's disarmed by the revelation rather than, and she has to sort of gather herself. But it's all done in the acting and in the face
Yeah.
work, and
In an animated Barbie movie, like it's so commendable. There's fun and chaos in this movie. We have a typical scene where Barbie comes in and a dog bounds up to her and pushes her over and licks her face, and it's shorthand for the audience. Oh, Barbie's a good person because the dog trusts her, and la la la. And the principal comes out and she's like, oh, that dog's usually really shy, but he really likes you, and his name's Prince. And you're like, yeah, we get it. Barbie's a sweetheart. She's basically Snow White. We're all on board. But the reason we have that scene is because it basically leads to the unveiling of the twist in the third act, where we see that dog as a puppy in a portrait that confirms that actually it was a dog that grew up with a baby Blair, aka Sophia, and the dog literally recognized her from her past and is like a family member. So it's again, pretty simple stuff, but just really cool, unveiling, like I'm happy with my little simple Barbie movies, and yet they keep giving me things to feast upon. I'm like, yum,
again,
yum, 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 yum.
yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I hadn't twigged the dog thing. I as always, when a fucking animal comes on in these movies, I am very critical towards them.
You're prepared to be horrified.
I was just hoping, don't talk, but it doesn't. It's just very friendly to her, right?
It's just a nice dog.
Like you said, I just assumed it's just because, what's her name? Blair is just a nice person.
Yeah, it's shorthand.
And then to find out that, as you said, the reveal that it's a dog that's known her when she was a baby is fucking brilliant.
It's fantastic.
and it's just, I don't want to make out this is Inception or anything,
Yeah.
or this isn't an Agatha Christie level mystery. It's all fairly obvious and routine and trope laden, but it's delivered so well.
It's just really strong. They don't waste time with it all. Everyone's endearing. This is the thing, it's endearing. There was a moment I was watching it and my brain was telling me, like, oh gosh, this is a cringy 2000s movie. But my reaction in the moment was one of charm and endearment. And they are in the big ballroom and they're having a big ball lesson with dancing, and they've invited the princes from the Prince Academy down the road along to partner up. So of course this is where we meet essentially our little Ken, who again is has a personality and is funny, and him and Barbie share some banter, and it's a fun little relationship, even though we only get to see like 3 minutes of their relationship in the entire 80-minute movie. What they do share is cute and endearing, and they'll start dancing. Delancey tries to trip Barbie up. 10 catches her, and then they go into this more sort of modern, you know how kids do. They do it in the Goblet of Fire. You'll have the traditional ballroom bit, and then the kids will be like, screw this old man, what's up, my cool dudes? Let's do some jiving and some dancing. And it's like usually really cringe, and you're like, yeah, I guess that's what teenagers are like, but please stop, you're making my eyes hurt. It was, they pulled it off here. They pulled it off largely thanks to that prince with the glasses that gets paired
Yes.
with who again just doesn't say a goddamn word, is on screen for like 1 minute, if that, steals the show, steals it.
Yes, they kind of do ravey line dancing. I mean, it's weird. But again, other reviews, he's many people's favourite character as well. And
fantastic.
like you say, they're just moments.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. It
But
is
what
a little
should have
bit
been
cringe.
so cringe was just
but
charming. I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then before you know it, again, as always, when they do these things properly and well, it's over. It's over before you have time to be like, oh, I hate this.
Indeed, but then and then just played back a little bit in the conclusion, isn't it? In the denouement, there's a little bit more, but it's fine. It's better than fine. Because that's exactly the sort of thing that would make me go, oh, fucking hell. I think there was one of the movies before, I think you liked the dancing, and I felt it was unnecessary.
I do like the dancing.
I think 12 Dancing Princesses,
Oh, yeah.
I think I found it a bit...
That was Rotoscope Ballet. Like, how can you not like that?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And in here, it's fine. It was short and sweet, and then at the end, it was very High School Musical, where they literally played a song where it's like, we're gonna rule different countries now that we've all graduated. Like, it literally is something like that. And they're doing like a shuffle and a shimmy and a step turn. Like, it's fucking great. I love it.
It just reminded me when I was in Texas and I went to a bar and everyone started line dancing. It's not quite achy breaky heart, but yeah, it was. But the thing is, it's 30 seconds, 2 minutes of the movie.
It's great. It's great.
And it gives, and it's fun. It's great, and it adds. It shows that these kids are 16, 17, 18 years old, not indeterminate age because everyone looks the same. I'm all right with it. You haven't mentioned, however, Barbie's mates, Hadley and Isla.
Hadley and Isla. So we mentioned Isla briefly. But she's into football. In what did this come out? 2011?
2011, yeah.
She's into football. We've got a primary named character who hangs out with Barbie, who is super into sports, particularly, I guess it would be soccer.
If you're American.
Like 10 plus years before the Lionesses are gonna storm the Euros. And when I was growing up, there was nothing on my radar that said that girls should do football other than she's the man. And the whole point of that was that there was sexist barriers.
Bend It Like Beckham, I guess,
And Bend
is
It
the
Like
other
Beckham,
one.
which again,
But again,
barriers.
both bizarrely, sort of the sex barrier isn't the problem there, it's the race thing. But yes, it's rare. It's rare, and this film is, it is taking a little bit. It's aware. We talked already about Mean Girls. Yeah, maybe a bit of Bend It Like Beckham, bit of this, bit of that, but not overwhelmingly so. They're just little influences, that we haven't really seen before.
Because usually Barbie's friends don't have anything. And yeah, like so that one's personality is that she mixes music, and that one's personality is that she's into sport, but at least that's something. Usually their personality is that they hang out with Barbie. So we're like at least given something to do here.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
aspire to see ourselves in, to think about, to pursue. Like, it's just more options. We're just thinking about who's watching this and what are they taking from it. Again, I stressed in the last episode about the absolutely fantastic messaging to children that these movies are giving. And this one tops it all again. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Come on.
Which is absolutely something.
Flipping tables. I had to learn that in therapy at like 29. Instead of learning it from a fucking Barbie movie back in 2011.
Yeah, no, and I think that theme, it's not over. The Mrs. Privet says it to Blair, and then Blair repeats it to the girls as an inspiration later on. That's it. There's this brevity and just it's there throughout the movie, but it's not.
It's so strong.
But it's not,
because it's like Delancey can do whatever the hell she pleases. It's not going to work because I'm not going to let it work, and that's not cowardly. It's not weak. If anything, that's brave and strong. I know who I am, and obviously it ties into much bigger things here, where it's like I'm literally the last princess, guys. It also feeds into, again, we have another turnaround. We have an enemies to lovers, where Delancey, really much quicker than you think she's gonna, is having changes of heart and helping people out, and again, really complex things, because again, she's under the thumb of her mother, and it's her mum. It's her mum. Like, that's a big thing. We know what Blair's relationship with her mum is and what she's doing for it. So of course we're going to mirror that with Delancey. Why would she disobey her mum? Why would she not follow her mum's rules? She does. She branches out on her own, and she has courage, and she learns it from Barbie, and she changes her mind, and she helps Barbie and her friends do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And then when her mum is taken away to the prison at the end of the film, we get a moment with Delancey to experience that, to be like, oh my God, that's my mum who raised me and has supported me and has fucking thrilled for me being taken away. And yet here I am on the right side of history. But that's still a very hard thing to deal with as like a 17-year-old. I just thought it was really cool.
Again, the fact that she turned to Barbie's side in and of itself isn't necessarily a surprise. I think you would. That's one of the two ways that can go. That's a bite.
Yeah, they either double down.
Ha villain. Yeah. So absolutely. But the fact you see her break, and there's a moment. There's the weird bit where Dame Devin is talking about knocking down the tenements and turning it into a park, which is a bit weird. Like, that was her plan. That's where this is all coming to.
She
bit
needs
odd, but never mind.
In order to do some building work. Okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's because she wants to make sure that any evidence of the Princess Sophia's existence has disappeared. I'm sure there's more to it, but it's a bit weird. But you just see Delancey again. It's in the animation. It's in the look. Nothing is said. It's like just there's a. She looks at the Barbie, at Blair. She looks at us. And you see again. You just see. She doesn't have to say anything. It's all in the animation. It's all in the storyline. And yes, 5 minutes later, again, you think she's caught them in the act of doing something, and no, and she becomes a proper protagonist in finding out the truth. And okay, we also see her do it when she sees because she overhears them talk about the picture, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. And then she goes and looks at the picture, and there's no making that, again, easy thing. Oh, I better hide that picture because that picture's evidence, right? That Barbie basically looks exactly like
Dead Queen
Isabella
yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. But wouldn't that have been the easy fix? Get rid of the painting. Burn it, rip it. But no, and again, you just see she doesn't say anything. She doesn't have a discussion with anybody about this. It's all in, can I say, in the acting?
Yes, I think you can, because they're giving these characters room to breathe. They're giving these characters acting opportunities in a way that we've perhaps not seen before. Especially in an animation, especially if you're on a budget, you're going to want to just give the frames to the story and put what is necessary. And so when you take the time to do these side gags or visual things or moments of acting for major characters, that's thoughtful and brilliant storytelling using the medium at hand that, again, no one's really expecting from a Barbie movie, except now I'm finally settled in this moment where I'm like, I have a bar for these things now, and I want to keep hitting that bar. And I really hope that we do, and I'm really worried. I know we've got a Mermaid Tale 2 coming up. I really hate
Which is well thought of, by the way. So I just had a quick look. I just wanted to check. So the writer is Elise Allen, who, last time I checked up the writer, I'm pretty certain it was either A Mermaid Tale or Thumbelina, which are two of the worst
we
ones.
hate them.
But she also wrote Fairytopia. Well, she's written the best and the worst, as far as I know. She's written Fairytopia and Mermaidia. She wrote Christmas Carol. She wrote Fashion Fairy Tale and A Fairy Secret, which I think we both loved. And she's got some more to come. She, however, did write Magic of the Rainbow, Thumbelina and A Mermaid Tale. So I think it comes and goes. But it is quite clear that some of our favourites, and especially in this sort of phase 2,
yes,
right? I'm going to give her a pass in A Mermaid Tale. I didn't like it for slightly different reasons than you did. I just thought it was like a retelling of something we'd seen before. Yeah. And I didn't like, that mishmash of modern and the sort of traditional Barbie fairy tale didn't quite work. Mm-hmm. But of course, you can actually see that that's what they did with Fashion Fairy Tale, with A Fairy Secret, with Charm School, these worlds of where a contemporary world where magic happens. That's her jam. And maybe we just see Mermaid Tale, and even to an extent Thumbelina, as the starting of that journey. And this, to me, is each one of these movies since has had much more complexity. There's really interesting characters. There are 20 fucking movies in, and I'm still getting interesting side characters. Yeah, this one's full of them. We're on a roll. The last couple of movies and this one are
they're solid. They're solid.
They're really solid, but they're really solidly written, and they just get just smarter
different.
And smarter.
Like in this one, all of the intrigue behind the unveiling of what happened to the monarchy, like the whole the car crash, and did the baby survive? Like like true crime podcast at the Princess Charm School. The way Hadley talks as a friend, the way that they'll just be like together doing something, and she'll be like, "What's your top 5 favorite things that you're looking forward to seeing in the palace?" Go. And that's real dialogue. That's like what real people sound like when they're hanging out with their friends. Like that's, again, just really endearing and thoughtful stuff. And I guess the last bit about this movie that we need to mention is it sort of goes a little Mission Impossible, which again is just really fun and interesting and
maybe what I wanted all along.
Yeah.
I'll never tire of movies that have the red laser lights that you have to sort of sneak through to get to the treasure. But it has all that and passwords and keypads and computers, but it also has magic crowns that glow when it's on the right head.
It's the best. else. So good.
It is Hannah Montana. It is that indeed. Yeah, it's kind of postmodern, I guess is the old phrase we'd used to use in media studies, in that it's sort of reinventing whilst keeping all these old cliches in place, but just having a look at them in a slightly different way. And I love the way that, like you said, like they talk like proper people talk.
Yeah.
Ish. You know, it's not like, I don't know, a mumblecore movie or something, but it feels legitimately like these people are real people that are having conversations. And my God, how many, what are you looking forward to? And listing it, like you said, what are the 5 things you're looking forward to? Or something like that is what they say, isn't it? And it just feels like, that feels like what people would say. And there's a genuine excitement about going to the castle as well, when you think, hang on a minute, these two, Isla and Hadley, are actually legit princesses, right? Don't know where they're from. But you would have thought they've probably grown. Why are they? Because what I'm getting to that is because Delancey says, literally, I was raised in this castle. Why is it going to be exciting to me? But the other two are really excited about it because they're interested in the conspiracy. They're interested in what happened and all these stories. And like I said, I'm pretty certain there's a Lady Diana, Princess Diana sort of idea going on here. Yeah. But again, it never really. I don't think it says that Dame Devon created the car crash. I think it was just that she took advantage of it.
To getting rid of
the baby, probably.
She orchestrated the deaths, she basically admits to, live on camera.
Because her password hint is something along the lines of the day it all came together.
Yeah.
And so I yes. Because
So
that's
in order
fucking
for her
dark.
daughter
If she basically,
to...
if she basically arranged the deaths, then that's bloody dark.
It's really dark, and that's basically the implication. Like, in order to get Delancey on the throne, she killed her sister-in-law and brother. She killed her own brother for the throne.
And who put the baby on the doorstep? Did we find that out?
I don't know that we find that out. I imagine somebody just found the baby in the trash, or maybe.
No, we see it. Could we see the? Oh no, because Emily gives her a picture, doesn't she, of showing her on the doorstep. She says, "Oh, my sister loves that." I love how that's the first time it's mentioned.
Yeah.
Is
the exposition of like, oh, it's a crayon drawing my little sister drew of the day that I was abandoned on my adoptive mother's doorstep as a child orphan. Oh, good times.
Because they don't mention it at all in the sequence we have at the beginning. Because it takes a little while to get to Princess Chancellor. There's quite a lot of build up, but that bit just isn't mentioned.
It's so funny. It's just like bam, adoption plotline, and you're like, wait, what?
But I wasn't that surprised because I had realised that she was Princess Sophia quite a long time ago.
Right.
But that is just a clue that's been unearthed, right?
Yeah.
And fine. Also, if I'm going to criticise the movie, the fact that Emily is off screen outside of the first and last 5 minutes is the only thing that I'm going to criticise it for, because I'd like to have seen, because I imagine most of the movie's actually taken place over a year.
Yeah.
It looks like it takes place over a week, but I'm imagining it's taken place over a year. and it would have been nice to see Barbie interact with Emily a bit more visually, because she obviously loves her little sister very much and her mother very much, and the fact that they're only bookend. But mate, I am picking at this film if that's what I'm if that's what I'm most upset about, right? I'm going to give all the general lore of how this place works a pass. And yeah, I just like a little bit more. But I genuinely believed it because there's enough done, I guess, at the beginning to show that Emily loves her sister. Her sister loves her. She's not going to change her name at the end, which is interesting as well. So that life she's not throwing on. Oh, it's lovely. Sorry, we've gone through this in a very random way today, but I think it's because we're both kind of excited about it.
I almost wanted to tell you to be like, and watch it. I think it's on Netflix. Like, watch it.
It is.
Like, it's just so good.
Yeah. So, of course, this is one of the DVDs that worked. But I don't feel bad about that, because I tell you what, this might be one I would show somebody.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know, people in my real world often say, or in other podcasts, you know, what the fuck are you doing? And I don't care. And I explained, you know, I explained the premise of the podcast and blah, blah, blah. And then they will ask, you know, we'll name a Barbie movie that is worth watching. And I could reach back to, you know, some of the classics we know about, Fairytopia or Three Musketeers or 12 Dancing Princesses. But I think they are quite... I'm not going to get many grizzly 50-year-old men to watch them.
No.
On the other hand, there's so much smart stuff going on in this one. Yes, it's still about little girls wanting to be princesses, but there's I don't know what it is. It's really charmed me, and
it is.
Like I say, we've got another tough old conversation coming up about where we're going to put this on the list.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm scooting it right up past all of the mids. Let's scoot on up. Honestly, I was looking at the list earlier and I was like,
You know that where we thought the top three was a lock-in forever?
honestly, I didn't think anything was going to scratch that top three, and that top three's now moved more than anything else. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Is this better than A Fairy Secret?
I'm getting the list up as well.
I wish I could like tie it.
I don't think so. So, A Fairy Secret. Which one
Yeah,
was
I
A
think
Fairy Secret? That was that last
was
episode.
last week's, yeah.
I think. See, I'm going to give Portia's going to get an extra mark.
I know.
I think we still need to recognise Mamadia as an
One of the-
important
Yeah,
moment.
it's true.
I would stick it at number 5
Okay.
between Mamadia and Mariposa.
Yeah.
I fear. I'm. Yeah, which does push 12 Dancing Princesses out of the top 10.
Wow.
Which, again, I never expected to happen.
Oh, I know, this is sanity. So the top
I mean,
10.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
How
I
are you
think
are you
you're
happy
right. I
with
think
5th?
I was giddy coming off the back of it, but I was also editing A Fairy Secret earlier, and it was just hit after hit after hit with A Fairy Secret. Um, just to confirm and concrete the gayness in this movie, Delancey is Blair is asked who she wants her like Princess Royal to be, her wife. She's who her royal wife is going to be, and she chooses Delancey, and the two hold hands and embrace, and they're married now officially under the eyes of the monarchy. So that's why this movie is the gayest. And then she has a dance with Ken, but that's irrelevant. So
I mean, this is a very Ken-like movie.
it's the biggest male character is that dog.
Yeah.
Which is fan-frickin-tastic, because usually we're fighting to pass the Bechdel test, and yet here we are in most Barbie movies with friends and lovers and mothers and sisters, and we're just brimming with women, and it's fantastic.
So there is the guy with the most is the bodyguard driver fella.
Yeah, is Rock, is that his name? Something like that.
Something ridiculous. Who
He's Scottish, and he has like 9 lines, I guess.
Yeah, and
It's like a
about 5
secondary
scenes.
antagonist.
Yeah, again, no, yeah,
Again,
yeah. But I'm just
nothing
thinking
wrong
he's
with
the
it.
only guy. This is the most female-led movie. It is whatever the opposite. Well, not the opposite. Whatever the male equivalent. It's failed the whatever the Bechdel test is for men.
For men, yeah.
But I
That's every
didn't-
single movie ever.
Yeah, I know. But it didn't bother me at all that there's no male characters.
Well, no. Why should it? Because if the characters are good, it doesn't matter what they are.
Mm. And the fact it is this strangely female-led world, but that's
Mm.
cool. It's just not. It's just.
You know what? It
It's
never
just
even
now you've brought
occurred to
attention
me
to it. I'm
that,
noticing
yeah,
it.
we're living in a
At the
world
time,
that all the leadership are female, and like we've sort of
mm,
been living in those worlds when we come to Barbie anyway. But yeah, this explicitly is a world where every country is run by a woman who goes to a specific boarding school in order to go back and run their country, it has to go through the women. The line is led through the women. That's
well,
amazing.
although there is a mirror film where it's all happening at the Prince Charming school where they could say the same
That's
thing. But
true.
let's just stick with
La la
your
la la
view
la.
of it.
Yeah.
I like to think it's a partnership is what's happening, but
Yes.
it doesn't matter. Also, Hadley and Isla, right? I mean, they're a couple too,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they're a couple. Yeah, they were a couple before Barbie even joined the school, so
Absolutely,
that's fine.
and they were just nice. I like them because there was no. I don't know.
Yeah,
They just accept her
they're
in.
very cute. Yeah, oh yeah,
Bang.
instantly they were just like, "Hey, new best friend," and it's like,
And it just
yeah,
involved her, and there was none of this. Yes, Delancey was a cowbag
but
to
very
Blair.
briefly and not that bad.
Apart from when he chopped up all her clothes,
No,
that was
that was
pretty.
Dame Devon sending her
Yeah,
fairy servant off to do that. That had nothing to do with
that's
Barbie.
right. Yes. So this is just a quick one. Those fairy servants,
Yeah.
they're a bit.
So you
Yes, all
join
right.
the
You talked
boarding
about the.
school and you get given like a fairy. And the fairy is like, "Hello, miss, can I help you?" And they like manicure your nails for you and fetch your things and guide you around and do your bidding, no matter how dark it may be.
Mm.
Weird. I don't have much more to say about it than that.
Yeah, but they're good and bad. That's the weird thing that they'll just
They
do whatever they're
reflect,
told.
yeah, they just do what the master, as it were, bids them.
Yes,
And
very
careful
weird.
in it. So they'll come back and high five once they've done a mischief, or they'll giggle evilly in the corner once they've done a mischief. So I don't know if it's like Tinkerbell where they can only have one emotion at once and you're sort of tied to your human and so you just reflect their emotions. It's again
Mm.
really interesting, bizarre concept that has lots of thought around it if you wanted to delve deep into it. Like you could have a whole conversation about what the hell they are and where they've come from and why they exist. And do normal people get them, or do you only get them if you attend the Princess Charm school? Do the men have an equivalent? Are they like demons in the Philip Pullman world? Like what's going on?
Absolutely, yes.
Weird.
And I was just having a look. The directors. This is not a William Lau joint. This is
Oh,
Ezekiel Norton,
oh,
and I think this is his first Barbie movie. I
okay.
assume it's a guy, but Ezekiel is normally biblically a guy.
Yep.
And he's going to do Princess and the Pop Star, Pearl Princess, Barbie and Princess Power, which is another one I'm looking forward to, and Barbie Video Game Hero. So
Oh,
actually, two or three of them I have looked on my shelf and thought, oh my God, that sounds dreadful. But this has actually filled me full of hope.
yeah.
I see Morwenna Banks, who I think I brought up in A Christmas Carol.
Yes,
She
she's
was,
Eden.
yeah, obviously quite a major British actress, also voice worker, comedian. That's the word. So she's
Yes.
in that. I mean, she's got tons of stuff.
Um,
So yeah, it's quite nice to see that voice back.
she's fantastic here as
Yeah,
well. Her character's brilliant.
yes, she's Dame Devon, right?
No,
I
she's
assumed.
Miss Privet, isn't she?
Of course she is. Yes, of course she is. Yes. And that's another one of my favourite characters.
Yeah.
Are you missing? Are you missing Kelly Sheridan? Because I've got to be honest, I thought I would more.
I know, and I feel awful. I'm like, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. I didn't even think to think this time round, you know? I was just enjoying everybody's vocal performances that oh, I'm sorry, not missing you as much as I thought I would.
Yes. Anyway, I think we both love this, and its ranking will be on, but
it's in the top 5.
Well, it is, and it's got. You just want to look at its letterbox rating. It's phenomenal, but I get it. I think I know that some of it's just people having a laugh, but I do genuinely think this is the new standard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm now going to be pissed if the standard drops. Cool.
Yeah, I will absolutely be criticising future movies if they don't have this depth of character and subtlety of plot and moments. You know, I'm all right with them being
really high now.
Yeah, I'm all right in this sort of phase 2 world of contemporary stories with the little bit of magic. That's all right. I'm all right with that. We're in that world. But yes, groovy. Loved it. Everyone else should go and watch it.
Please go and watch it. As I say, I think all of these phase 2s are on Netflix. I've run out of DVDs now. That was my final DVD. After I bought this DVD box set like 10 years ago, I finally worked my way through it. And I'm going to be moving over to Netflix going forward. So, top five, Barbie Princess Charm School. Number 4 is Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia. Number 3 is Barbie A Fairy Secret. Number 2 is still The Princess and the Pauper. And number 1 is Barbie and the Three Musketeers. The movie that introduced the world to feminism. So, it's good stuff.